Hello, gotta check my audio and video. So, how's everything going right now? Everything sound all right? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello, hello. Ah, there he is. How you doing, Brian? Hi, Brian, Dominic, and Mark. Is the sound all right and the video okay? I'm still getting used to my fancy outfit here. Hi, Rusty. Gustard. Okay, sounds good. Great, great, great. All is good. That's what I need to know. Hi, Big Sal, John. Oh, good. Okay. Um, Today's topic was suggested by the rancher. Now, what he said is sort of an interesting one because this has happened to me before, and I don't know. I guess I should care more, but I don't about people saying, well, if you get that one, it's not going to have a good resale value or no one's going to know what it is. And it's sort of an interesting thing in a lot of respects. The more you know about watches, the more you learn about some of the more obscure ones that may have incredible value. There he is. There's a rancher. He this we're I took the topic you suggested yesterday, and we're talking about what if you get a watch and nobody cares about it, or would you get a watch that nobody cared about? Um, I'm probably not a very good example of this. In other words, that I didn't get a watch. I mean, when I got my really first professional high horology watches, I was a university professor, and as a group, they could care less about. All they want to do is be on time. Now, there may be some who really cared about the horology, but most of them were interested in whatever their field was and doing what they were doing. And, I'd show them my watch and talk about it and so forth. And um, they were interested because they sort of a group of people who seemed to be interested in all kinds of different things. But it's like, you know, not a single one said, well, what did you pay for that? That didn't come up, thank God, because then I'd be considered sort of a spendthrift. But overall, I'm curious about that. Now, before we get started, because I want to hear from you guys, but before we get in on too far into this, let me tell you a story about one of the very first watch time shows that I went to, which was one of the first ones I had. Actually, wasn't that long ago, but I think I had on my FP Journe. I think I had on my, not sure which one I had on, but had one of my FP Journes on, and I was going there and talking to watchers with everybody and hi, how you doing, and so forth. And this guy he came up to me and he said, is that an FP Journe? I said, yeah. I said, yeah, I got it. I haven't had it too long and really like it. I said, what are you wearing? He says, oh, I only have a Rolex. Now, the irony there is that outside of a bunch of watch collectors, you know, a Rolex would be a huge thing. In fact, even among collectors, I know there are a lot, there are groups of collectors who collect Rolexes, but in certain contexts, they're not the same, they don't have the same kind of clout that they would have outside. And so it's sort of like, in terms of having an important watch, like if it's important to you, the rest really doesn't matter. I mean, it's the funny kind of thing. I mean, it's like if we were talking about oh God, Bruce the other day. Bruce passed away a couple years ago, and Bruce was a great guy. He loved Rolexes, and shortly before he died, he got a what was called a bluesy. And I used to give him a hard time about his watch, but I mean about his love of Rolexes. It was sort of one of those things. And Bruce is a super cool guy, and we hung out at the Watch Time show together. And nobody gave him a hard time about it, really, except me. And but I remember when he got the bluesy, I was as happy for him as he was for himself. So it's sort of appreciate what other people appreciate. But on the other hand, there are watches that say, "Oh, look, I got this Acme 500 or something like that." And gee whiz, what do you think? And so and so and so and so and so and so worked on it. Like for example, I could mention Derek Pratt to probably a room full of watch collectors that have no idea who I was talking about. And yet, if I found a watch that he had worked on, I would go to great lengths to get my mitts on it. So anyway, so that's sort of the topic I wanted to talk about, because I think the rancher was right in having this as a topic to sort of for us to sort of clear our heads, so to speak, on what we really value as watch collectors. Okay, hang on. I'm looking at my this new gizmo I have makes it difficult to get around. Okay, let's see. Bip, bip. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Hi, Jonathan Joas, Johnny Tuna, Equus, Jorge, or Horg. There's a difference. Good afternoon from Germany. Many watches can be modified, new strap, new dial, new guilloche shade. So before checking your watch, think outside the box. You're the wearer. Okay. William, good morning from Florida, Key West. Yeah. Oh, Keys watch people. Hey, Dominic. Best to buy what you like, love. It doesn't matter much what everyone else thinks, even though I would prefer that they like it. That's an interesting. I know what you mean by that. In other words, you sort of wish they weren't so stupid. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Sorry, Dominic. Gee whiz, there's this great watch, and these dummies, they have no idea what I got on. There's sort of it's almost a cruel phrase that I've mentioned before from that was from the Hour Lounge, the old Hour Lounge that was set up and run by Vasseron Constantin. This a long time ago, and the guy running it, Alex. I'm trying to think his full name. Anyway, Alex. Alex has said something that always resonated with me. Some people are saying, well, so and so doesn't really appreciate my Vasseron Constantin. And he said something that at the heart of it, and at the really base of it, is a very sort of a hard snobbish thing. And that is, if they know, they know. And it was like, otherwise, they don't really count that much. So it's sort of like, here's my Acme 500. If they don't like it, if they know, they know. Okay, hey Truman, Eugene, good morning. To a certain degree, you're preaching to the choir on this channel. That's no fun. I don't want to preach to the choir. What do you guys not like? See if I can help you out. Hey, Tuna, I have been attracted to to many would consider a strange choice in watches. You know what happens though? I'll tell you, you want to transform what people think of a watch. Watch it go sky high in price. Then their attitudes change, not because the watches change, or a lot of time because the only thing they know about is the price. But you get a watch like one of the like they've had the turnaround in prices on the Daniel Rosses and the uh, Roger Dubuis, for example. Not to mention FP Journes. God. This is the highest compliment I can pay on your channel. Thank you. How you doing, Rel? Okay, guys. So there's the thing of it is that I think it's really super important to find out as much as you can about a watch. We have I keep finding out new things about our watch. Little product placement here. And one of the things I found out, you remember the other day, I don't know if you heard about it or not, but I'll tell you about it. The people who made the movement for this watch, Agenor, they did some kind of deal with H. Moser. H. Moser bought an interest in Agenor, and these are my two favorite watch companies right now. I really like both of them because they have the same values, I think, that I and a lot of other people I know have. And that is that they're interested primarily, I think, in really good high quality watches. Excuse me. Even though they're not adverse to making a profit. So anyway, so this is that's the kind of thing that came up. And so I had one of the things I'd always wanted for a watch was a Straumann hairspring. And I thought that in the base movement that they had, that our movement had, they had one by Otto Kalpa, hairspring by Otto Kalpa. And even though Otto Kalpa, they're quite good, I would have rather had one by Precision Engineering that is part of the companies that are owned by the H. Moser people. Actually, there's another company above H. Moser that owns H. Moser plus these other ones. And it's called a Straumann hairspring. To me, it's the best hairspring ever made. MB&F make them, uses them. Kari Buten uses them. So anyway, these tip-top watches. So I thought, well, wouldn't it be nice if we had one of these hairsprings? And I remember at the time, a few years ago, I mentioned to Nicholas Wiedereck, I said, hey, wouldn't it be great if we had a Straumann hairspring? And I asked him, I said, do you have one? He said, no, we don't, but they would like us to. Well, it turns out, unbeknownst to me, that our watch, we have the hairspring from Precision Engineering from H. Moser. And they didn't tell me. I just assumed that from our previous discussion that they had. So I learned that we had a Straumann hairspring in here. So a lot of people would say, so what? To me, their so what doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that I found out something that made me like it even better than I already do. Hey, Brian, I like wearing a watch that most people, other than other collectors, don't know about. The first time I wore my excuse me, Hedro Damari, it generated so much talk around my non-watch collector friends. Wow, that's neat. I'm glad to hear that, because that's always been a movement. I've always just thought, man, that's one of the best movements that Michel Parmigiani made. Mark, hey, Mark, what did you have? I guess I missed a comment by you. You said you meant, oh, there it is. I'm looking into a slightly used Regent type 21 8310. Okay. I don't know. Is that from Block Pond? I'm not sure. Hey, neighbor. Good morning, Alexander. It's supposed to be 70 degrees here today. So I have to have a sort of several layers for the morning, for the late morning, for the afternoon, and for the afternoon. 70 degrees. And oh, it's April 1st. God, I'm surprised we don't get snow. What was the autocorrect? A regret type. I think my brigade. Oh, it's a brigade. Okay. I see. I didn't get it at first. Okay. Hey, good morning, John. A beautiful day here in Miami. Oh boy, yeah, there's a big game between the Miami Hurricanes and the Yukon Huskies in the Final Four playoffs tonight. That ought to be something. Hey, John. Good day. Unsin. Ha. How you doing? How are things in Abu Dhabi? I love to say Abu Dhabi. I got stuck in the Abu Dhabi airport one day for a number of hours. What a delightful little side vacation because the airport was so nice. Hi, William. Let's see. Laurent Ferrier has a new design, and it's okay. It is only $49,000. It's a bargain. Good morning from Canada. Hi, Myra. Okay. It's already 78 in Miami. I'm surprised. And the water level is rising. Hi, Javi. Truman, what you got here? Okay, yes, I saw the Edward Malin interview. What did he mean by investing in Agenor, though? All Struman hairsprings aren't double, are they? Like the base HMC. Oh, no, they're not. No, they're not double hairsprings. They're simply they're just a regular hairspring. When I say regular, sort of an interesting story behind the Strawman hairspring, and this is why the Rolex had some guy develop the parachrome spring form, and it's really an amazingly good hairspring, and I'm glad they're keeping it. And it seems they had this one new Cellini that came out that they stuffed in silicon, and the other ones are keeping the parachrome. Well, parachrome is, I think, the major ingredients is niobium and chromium. And so the same guy I guess he was doing some work with precision engineering, and they came up with one called the Strawman hairspring. And the Strawman hairspring is niobium and titanium. And man, this is God, what a great hairspring. So I found out that ours was, well, now I did jump the gun a little. They're still checking this out for me, but this is from the hairspring from Precision Engineering. By the way, too, this has got chronometer tested and passed. Okay, are we going to talk about Lyrique number 2? No, Eugene, what I'm going to do, I got to set up a live stream just for people from who are involved in the Lyrique number 2. Okay. So you'll have to wait for that. We're going to do that. I will probably do it on Sunday tomorrow. I'll see what I can fix up. I've got a whole bunch of stuff happen that I've got to take care of. There it is, or was. a good gold market at Abu Dhabi Airport. The 1908 is not Cellini. Well, that's what I called it. What is it? Although, no, the 1908 is based on a classic. I love the looks of that watch. I love the hands of that watch. I don't know why they had to go and spoil it and stuff a Saloxy hairspring when they had a, if they're going to base it on something that is that classic of a watch, and then, well, why not put put quartz in there? They might as well if they're worried about accuracy or something like that. Hey, Vincent, how you doing, man? The investment is merely to keep the independence of Agenor while maintaining a supply of the movements that Moser is using for their chrono watches. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Vincent. Tuna, what do you think of the new Rolex 1908? Oh, yeah. I love it, except for the silicon. I mean, if I want silicon, I can get silicon. I'll go down to the Apple store and get a silicon watch. They got silicon out the yin yang. And if they give me the song and dance about, it doesn't get, magnetized as much and so forth, neither does a parachrome. Excuse me. Hey, you guys are at Watches and Wonders. How are things there? Anything wonderful beside the Larique? I spoke with Edward about it. Okay. That's good to know. Okay, what Vincent said about, I think we just have breaking news here from Vincent Lee. The reason for the agreement is so that the Agengraph chronograph movement, they can keep the supply of that coming in. That's basically what it is. So anyway, good to hear. Hey, Quarters Eye. Gerd Ruger Lang, the founder of Chronoswiss, passed away March 3rd. Chronoswiss just introduced a 40th anniversary revamp of the Chronoswiss Delphi with a solid gold dial with enamel. That sounds very interesting. I like H. Moser watches, but the thing is they make too many automatic movements. I prefer the hand wound. It's sort of an interesting thing about that, Eugene. It used to be the opposite. Both of my H. Mosers are hand wound. They were hand wound and I think 18 semi-oscillations per hour. The reason that more and more of them are automatic is that's what people wanted. And, that you can't, people like me who like hand wound and this and that and so forth, you can't base a market on that, or even people like us in general. So. Yeah. Yeah, no, all of the old Mayu and what do they call the band? They had these awful names. The Endeavor and the one with the small seconds. They had center seconds and small seconds. For me, I like my vintage pieces. I like the JLC Memovox. That's a cool one. Universal pole router. Who doesn't like a pole router? I don't know. There's for some reason, that name has so many different connotations that it's a lot of fun. Hey, Koji, how you doing? $22K for the new Rolex 1908 is an awfully steep price. Would opt for a Langsync Sonia. Yeah, Koji, I agree. I mean, if that thing had a parachrome hairspring and was half the price, that would be something I'd consider. Hey, Mark, I hop not to regret the brigade. Mark is having trouble now. Instead of hoping, you're hopping. That's great. Hey, Dean. Good morning from St. Petersburg, Florida. And I always buy watches that are not as popular, but the best horology I can afford. That's pretty much what I do too. I like that philosophy. Enjoy learning about them. Yeah, that's what I think that this is why I like sharing rather than lecturing. By the way, too, I saw this. I don't want to mention who it is because I forgot their name, but I really enjoyed. They had it was the guy who's a watch. He's got a watch channel, and he was talking about that there was like some big investigation that found out that Panerai and Tag Heuer were implying that they were using in-house, and they weren't. And I think it was some other company too that he was like there was a big investigation. Now I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, but that's like saying Richard Nixon got impeached or had to leave office. But I love this guy's presentation. Fantastic. He's talking away and stuff, and then all kinds of little cartoons and things come up to emphasize the point he makes. Just a great program. I wish I could remember the name of it, but I really liked it. I like the way he presented things. It's very dramatic and sort of like what was that? Dateline. There's a TV show in America called Dateline. There's this guy with this real funky voice, like that, talking to people. Well, this is what this guy does. Like, well, this is what we found. Like they were sneaking under the rugs and stuff. That's just, boy. Well, we sort of knew about that, but I love his presentation. Hey guys, let's see. Panerai, yeah, that's it. Those are the three, Alexander. This guy was great, though. I mean, his show is fantastic. I love it. But it was sort of like, did you guys hear that the President Nixon had to resign from office? Like, oh boy. Oh, Jesus. Jonathan, is that his name, Joy Goodman? He is great. If you see the guy, tell him I love his show. The Time Teller, is that it? Okay, I like his show. His stuff is well worth it. I mean, he has a real show going on, and he does things with video and everything else, and he's just more fun. I like that. He is. I don't know. I would say he could take a lesson on how to be a little more pretentious like I am. So he wants to have a look. Hi, Triando. What's a good investment watch to get that won't lose value? Oh boy. You shouldn't have probably said that because I think most people know what I'm going to say. A good watch their price may go down. And a bad watch that's popular, their price may not go down. The value doesn't change. We're not talking about changes in values. You get a good value in terms of good horology. Doesn't matter what happens with the price. Could go up, could go down, could go sideways. There are certain brands like Patek Philippe and Rolex that you can pretty well rely on that the price isn't going to go down, but the value is not going to go up. It's the same as the day you bought them. Hi, Kinosaki. Relatively less and less precious metal are used for the entry level. Yeah, that's true. Stainless steel and titanium. You know something? I really like steel. I like it better than titanium. And the reason I like it better than titanium, nothing's wrong with titanium. I think titanium's great for, out sort of if you're doing a lot of activity. There's but I like steel. Steel's got a nice heft to it. I like gold watches. I like platinum watches too for that same heft. Um, Trouble is, gold prices are now they're over $2,000 an ounce. Crazy. Hi, Hans. Good morning. Guten Morgen. What do you think of the new IWC engineer? God knows. It's sort of funny. I quit looking at IWC. What did they have? I think it was IWC made this really good one. But so many of their watches are sort of IWC in-house movements implied, okay, in their ETA. I wish they would say, okay, here we have our in-house movements and here we have our ETA movements. Same thing with Breitling. The same thing that the guy was talking about, that wonderful guy who had that show who was exposing Tag Heuer and Hublot and who was the other one, Panerai, that 318. Breaking news. But what a great show. I love the guy's show. I got to start watching it, I think. The value stays the same. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Question. Okay, one last question, Vincent, and then it's frying pan time. What's your opinion about why consumers enjoy the concept of in-house movements and why there is prestige associated with it? That's, I think, to some extent, losing some of its truth value. I mean, there are a lot of watches I would rather have with, let's say, a Vasseur movement in it than something they finally put together and called in-house. Or obviously something like an Agenor movement in a Rique watch. That's way better than they're going to do otherwise. I think the reason people want in-house and are willing to pay more for it is that there's a certain commitment by the watch company to making their own movements, doing something. Years ago, I interviewed the British company, the one I really like, but they didn't have their airplane themed. Nick English and his brother own it. Anyway, they had Bremont. Yeah, they finally came out. They got in a lot of trouble with. Oh God, there's so many people. Roger Smith over claiming in-house when it wasn't. Okay, one last one. Okay, Jorg R. Let's see, love my old and obviously not much loved HMC Monarch. Oh, I love that watch. I don't know what you don't like about it. Non-fusee in my Eterna Madison 8 days, probably for the most looked as ugly but with beautiful formwork on your Eterna, huh? That HMC Monard, beside having an ugly name, is a wonderful watch. That's what they now call a center second Endure, I think. Great watch. That's one I would not lose. Anyway, Rancher, thanks for my time is up. And we'll talk again this afternoon. Okay, let's see. Okay, Rancher's got something down here he put in. I think less scrupulous makers would put it off the shelf movements into their pieces, lie about it. Yeah, that happens all the time. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for stopping by. I'd love to hear from you. I learned something too. In the meantime, take care, be safe, and I'll be back around 4 o'clock New York time if you'd like to drop by. Take care.